the UI. This is everything. Oh, no. Go back. So you're able to kind of like drag shit in and fuck with it.
Yeah.
But the nicest thing is they have like where you can play it like in real time. So lifetime preview. We'll just do this. Yeah, we'll just pull it up. Oh, it's not going to show the audio. So this is just the basic.
Oh, I
Yeah.
mean, also on the subject of leak,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Arcane Season 2 has been given a release date.
Ooh, already? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, November next year.
November next year. That's exciting.
Yes, I am vibrating.
Hard.
Like, I put off watching it for so long. Yeah.
Okay. Hi Steve, how you doing? All right. So this is the Renpy launcher.
It already looks confusing.
Question, what the fuck is this? Oh, I think this is like a launch, but yeah. So each of these, I don't want to go into it because that like shows your personal data or whatever. But all of these, so this is your script, options for like the UI stuff like that, or actually UI I think is actually one of these guys. Navigate your script, everything like that. This is where you build it for the actual like things, so you can do it for web, which is kind of cool. Translation, so like it technically it has all the things that you know the other one does. It's just a little harder to work with. Have you backed up your projects recently? Probably not. Just let me launch it. Okay, so this is what it looks like. We'll start. But it has a lot of tutorials and stuff like that, which is nice. Yeah, it works. It works. It looks like I don't have my other game on here, which is fine. I think it's on my other computer for when I used to school. What is this one? Oh yeah. So yeah, it still works really well for that stuff. It's just that it works. It's just harder. There's besides it being like hard to understand because it's a bunch of code.
Yeah.
I remember for my thesis project, or that my game I made priorly, the Forever game with the vampire. That game I was having issues because one, I was trying to incorporate essentially video in every single like frame.
Yeah.
Because I made the pieces and then I cut up the pieces so I could have like a parallax kind of like scrolling kind of thing. Just add a little bit more atmosphere to them so I could go into After Effects and I could set it up where, you know, like where are we? So the screen, don't be cursed. So you can have like the multiple layers on top of stuff, and then you set it up in After Effects to have like a camera, and then you're able to rotate that camera around. Just for other people that don't know what that is. It's very cool. And then I added like a fog effect in one of the areas in After Effects to get a little bit more depth that way. Some shots took it better than others. And then I was able to take that footage, but the problem is Renpy doesn't take like any of the normal files, like move or anything.
Yeah.
So I had to figure out what files it does accept, and eventually
we love that.
Oh my god. Well, because it's especially because Renpy's older too.
Yeah.
So I was able to finally find it. To be fair, I will let you know that Doki Doki Literature Club is made with Renpy.
Ah, okay.
If you didn't know that, that's some fun facts. So you can do some pretty cool stuff with it. It is, I believe, Python based.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I was able to, I was having an issue. This wasn't that issue, but that was another issue I had. But one of the other issues I had working with Renpy is in coding, I didn't know how to make it pause. So, yes. So the problem was,
kind of an essential thing.
Yeah, so especially because I'd have like the background, and what it used to do, you know, I'd have the background and everything, and it wouldn't let me pause on it before it would, like, you know, have like a big like screen and like cover everything up, because I wanted to have it where I could like wait a little, like a few seconds before it actually brought up the actual chat log or the screen log. Which another thing I had to figure out, at least with that game, is I had to figure out how to center the text and also how to make it so it was 2 paragraphs. So I'm gonna shout out a real homie.
Yeah.
Because the one that helped me was Zetter.
Yeah.
I was in Zetter's DMs and I was like, Zetter, please help. How the fuck do I pause things? And how the fuck do I make it so this is centered and I can add another paragraph? I think I was able to figure out one of them myself, like using just like forms and shit. But the other one, the pausing one, I know specifically was Zetter. And thank God we're gonna give Zetter a shout out, because I swear to God, it was killing me inside. Is it It's Zetter or is it Is Zetter twice? Do you remember?
Zetter? Oh god, I don't know anymore.
It Zetter. Okay, thank you. Thank you. There we go. There's no it. There's no S.
I feel like taking a spiked Poco Bat.
So yeah.
Oh my.
It's still not working. I haven't fixed it yet, alright? Don't come for me. But yeah, Zetter was a real homie and figured that out for me. The problem is I'd have to look at the code again to figure out what the fuck it was. I don't remember. So yeah, it's a crazy fun time, and I'm so thankful that during that time I was actually taking a coding class so I can understand even only the smidgest bit. Because I was being overworked in that class. Not in that class, but in all my classes, because that was my 6th class in my senior year. My last semester, my senior year. So I was absolutely conked out. I was so tired.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a lot of trial and error with Renpy, but eventually I figured it out. And it got done. I will let you know that... that me making that game was so, the deadline was so close. I was literally still working on it. Thankfully I had more time than other people because I had a TV, so all I needed to do was get the game done, record the gameplay, and put it on a flash drive, and then plug it into the TV. Thank God. But I still had to do all of that in order to fucking finish it. It was very, I was very pressed on time, but I still did it. And honestly, that's my hugest accomplishment. And that's not my hugest accomplishment. That was one of the biggest accomplishments. But yeah, it's so much easier to work with. And from what I understand, this other application is way easier to work with too.
Yeah.
If only I knew. I was looking at this program and I'm like, dude, this would have been so much easier. I'm forgetting. I don't remember. I know some other people in my school also did visual novels. I don't remember what applications they used.
Yep.
But they looked a lot easier than what I was using. But the problem is by the time they already recommended a different program, I was like, well, I've already started working on this one. And it's already made in this one. You know what I just realized?
What did you just realize?
I was gonna fix some of the shadows in this one. I mean, I could still do it, actually. Yeah, I'm not that happy with this anyway. I'm gonna do that. Hi, I am artist. I do the things. And that's my rant about my project and Renpy. There's nothing wrong with it. I just hate coding.
That is fair. I would also hate coding.
Like, I don't hate it, but like it's really hard. I like how I'm listening to like heavy metal music while I'm doing this. It's like me ranting about Renpy with heavy music in the back.
I mean, it does fit for the vibe of the characters that you're drawing.
Yeah. During school, one thing that really helped me get by was if I really needed to finish a project really fast, I put on like really high fast-paced rock music because I work 100 times faster when the music has like a fast beat to it.
Yeah. Every time we touch, I get the feeling.
I would actually, yeah, I'd use some of those music. It helps. I go zoom. I'm like, I gotta do it to the beat. But yeah, another reason why that project I don't like it as much is because I didn't have enough time to work on it. Which makes me so sad. It could have been so much cooler.
That's what it usually ends up being like when it comes to
The final thesis project, you understand, I remember.
like final university projects of any year. It's like you have this big plan, and then the time gets closer, and then you're like, okay, we need to cut down so many things.
We need to cut. And unfortunately, that sucks. I don't want to cut anything. Okay, there we go. It really wasn't that much that needed to be fixed. But I was gonna go crazy if it wasn't. I'm trying to think what the easiest way to do this is. I honestly think it might just be easier if I redraw the face.
For corporate goth?
Well, just for both of them, just to make the expressions easier. Not like redraw,
Okay, that's
just for
that's fair.
expressions. Yeah, like they're fine now. It's like, no, don't redraw his face.
Not my boy.
Leave him be.
They massacred my boy.
But yeah, so I got this new program and it was on sale, and now that's what inspired me. To try making a game again. Because it seems way more easier to do so.
Yes.
Less likely to cry. Only less. I might still cry. That might still be on the table, to be fair.
There's always a chance.
There's always a promise.